Okay, the first stand requirements are 7 techniques taken from the entire 21 techniques of the Q grade syllabus. As the step from brown belt to black belt, much the same as regular judo practice, is a big step. There's a bit of a step up in technical requirements for the first stand in self-defence. Okay, so this is an idea of the sort of thing that you're looking for. What we'd like to do is make the techniques come to life. So before, when we were doing the Q grade syllabus, everything was static, there was no movement whatsoever, and it was really basic. So now that we're doing it in the Dan grades, things have to be a little bit more fluid and a little bit more realistic. So what we'll do is we'll link together 3 of the techniques, and we'll do them in a little bit more of a fluid fashion. Okay, section 2 is a series of wrist locks. Now, during the Q grade syllabus, there's been various wrist locks that have been practiced. So now what we're going to do is we start at the beginning of the Dan grades and work our way through the Dan grade syllabus. There's a lot more involvement with the wrist lock. So this drill pretty much covers every wrist lock that's going to be part of the syllabus. Okay, so the wrist locking drill starts off from a kneeling position before we go into the standing way. So what happens is you kneel opposite your partner and you lay your hands out in front of you, your partner takes a grip of your wrist. Excuse me. First thing we're going to do is turn our hands out so that our palms are facing uppermost. Slide one hand underneath the other. Now the bottom 3 fingers are the most important as opposed to the thumb and the forefinger. So we grip tightly with the bottom 3 fingers, keep the thumb wrapped round and pull the hand out against the thumb and the forefinger here, which is the weakest point. Bring the hand back under and cut down against the wrist to apply the kote gaeshi. Exactly the same thing to the other side. Pull it out and apply it. Now the next technique, what we're going to do is bring our hands round in a circle and knock the back of our partner's wrist together immediately. Cross your hands over, take a hold of the wrist in the kote gaeshi, the kote mawashi, exactly the same as has been done in the Q grade syllabus. Rotate our hands round in this direction and I'm going to cut directly down through my partner's centre line and apply the lock. Same thing to the other side, cross, turn it, boom, lock. Again, here, now we're going to do this sequentially, so we've got 1, release, take a hold of the forearm, 2. Exactly the same thing to the other side. 1, release, 2. And again, knock, 1, 2, and then hand into the inside of the crook of the arm. And again, you're still cutting this down through your partner's centre line, as if you're cutting them straight down through their head and through their abdomen with a sword. In here at the crook of the arm and rotate in the way. Same thing to the opposite side. Knock, 1, 2, into the crook of the arm, 3. Now this time we're going to turn our hands up this direction and I'm going to allow my opposite hand to slide under. And what I want to do is pinch the nerves in between the bicep and the tricep, just at the top of the elbow joint. Rotate my hand over so that our hands are now sitting like this. Pull this up and pull it down. So I'm applying a Udigarami in this position. Exactly the same thing to the other side. Rotate and apply the Udigarami. This time, up into the position for the Udigarami. And with this time we're going to thrust the arm forwards and over the top, so that the elbow comes up. Other hand comes through onto the back of a partner's forearm, not with the thumb round here, which makes it easier for it to escape and it weakens my grip, but in here, and I'm putting the back of my forearm against the back side of his arm, and forcing this down, so I'm applying this Udigarami in this position this time. Exactly the same thing to the opposite side, whip it over, through, and apply the lock. This time, the hand comes under, takes a hold here, and I'm going to push the palm of my hand directly against my stomach and then as I turn my partner's arm anti-clockwise, I'm going to rotate my hand down and out so that the back of his, or the palm of his hand remains against my stomach. Now as I begin to rotate this, it tilts his balance off, and as he does, you step up, come down the side, put your hands around his neck, and straight the arm against your chest. Come back to the beginning again, and do exactly the same thing to the opposite side. Take it, push it down so his hand's against my chest, rotate, come around, up, and straighten the arm against the chest. Back to the beginning again. Now this time, it's more or less the same thing. Again, we're grabbing the wrist in this direction, pushing my hand against my own chest, rotating it down and out so that his hand ends up in this position, and then rotate it anti-clockwise, push my hand through and turn it so that the palm of my hand rests on the shoulder, and then push down against my forearm with the back of his elbow, and apply the lock. Exactly the same thing to the opposite side. Down, rotate, through, and apply the lock. And that finishes that drill. Okay, now we've seen the drill from kneeling. We'll do exactly the same thing from standing. Now there's a little bit difference when you're standing up as opposed to kneeling. Whilst kneeling down, it's good to be able to practice the techniques without having to use your hips. It allows you to build the muscle memory so that you know how the techniques work. But when you're actually standing up, there's a big difference. If my partner grabs me tightly by both hands and doesn't allow me to turn his wrists, and I turn them, just purely using strength alone, I'll never be able to move them. Same way, if I try and come under and push them, I'm never going to be strong enough to be able to do that. What you've got to do is use your hips in a circular movement, and also action-reaction, exactly the same as a judo technique. So, if you're going to throw your partner using an ogoshi, you wouldn't throw them with your belt line in line with one another. I would want to get my belt line underneath my partner so that my centre is underneath theirs. That's making it nice and easy to be able to break their balance. Applying any sort of locking technique is exactly the same. So from here I have to dip my hips forwards, pull up and apply the lock. Up and apply the lock.